Okay, friends and neighbors, DK, Mr. V Amps here. I've got a Fender Deluxe, HotRod Deluxe 3, and the owner reported after a while the tone started getting worse and worse, so he bought new tubes, and that didn't make it right, so he took it to somebody who was supposed to fix it and make it more like a Dumble, and they modified it, and then it wasn't better. And it was doing weird things, and then it went to somebody else, and it got more modifications, and now allegedly it doesn't sound like a Fender at all. And obviously we've got, these aren't the correct values. What the hell is two things tied together up above there? That doesn't make any sense. We've got another one of them weird clusters over there. Like, some of the things I'm fine with, like, you know, putting in F&T capacitors to replace the originals. Somebody thought it was a good idea to try to put an extra one in there, you know, add some more filtration to it. Not a horrible idea, but it's probably not going to make a miracle. What's funny is, like, these Illinois capacitors, which this being a 2010, Illinois capacitors in 2000s, like 2000 through 2010, they were known to be a holy nightmare and problematic. I mean, since then the company's been purchased and things are better. These resistors, I don't remember these ever being part of a original Fender circuit, but they're there, they exist. So we've got some weirdness in here. So anyway, I'm tasked, all the tubes are testing as new, no issues with that. Have no idea how it's biased, but my job is to make this thing a Fender again. I don't even want to turn it on because I just don't, but I should figure we should at least see how it sounds now. But Lord knows what I'll find on the back of the board. I might find a bunch of other weird capacitors glued back there, or, you know, who knows. I don't know. I just want to put this thing back the way it belongs, bias it properly. And if you know anything about these amps, which I've monkeyed with them before, valve 1 here, you can really get some dynamic changes. You put in like a 12AT and it'll mellow it out and make it sound like a more traditional Fender. There's certain 12ATs I've had. I had one that was like a Japanese Channel Master. You plug that in, man, it just had a real bright tone, real cool. So just fiddling with the two tubes up here, just with different makes and models, it reacts with them all very, very differently. But I'm gonna have to go through this, schematics, fine-tooth combs, change resistors, change capacitors, change God knows what, and make it all stock again. Or stock-ish again. Like, some things I agree with, like these green resistors up here, that's cool because the original ceramic resistors were down on the board and they got hot. So, you know, same value, same wattage lifted up there, that's fine. You know, like, I don't know, is this one stock? I'm not sure if these are, but if they're the correct value, I'm cool with that. I don't know, man. Okay, so let's hear what we got. Normal volume is really, really sensitive. I mean, really, really sensitive. Okay? I mean, between 1 and 2, it's like ridiculous. Let's push the bright switch and see what happens. Okay, bright. That's a good mod. I like that one. That sounds really, really good. Okay, let's try the drive channel. Let's see if that really rocks my socks off here. Let's see. Drive, let's see. And more drive does. Virtually nothing as far as I can tell. That's great. So just take it to a low version of regular drive. can't tell a hill of beans difference. The reverb works. So yeah, I'll agree with the customer that this thing is messed up. But I'm sure it sounds great. Well, you know how it is about amplifiers. If you ever go on any forum, there's always somebody there who thinks they're the next Howard Alexander Dumble and is going to tell you all the great things you can do to your amplifier to make it sound great. Or better yet, bring it to me. I'll do it for you. Cha-ching. And then you end up in this kind of situation. Look, I don't claim to be a genius. I'm not a tone wizard. I'm not nothing. I'm just a dumbass who knows how to work a soldering iron. Alright? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to work a soldering iron and we're going to put this back the way that whoever the heck designed it intended. And hopefully it's going to work right when we're done. But what in the world? Why doesn't more drive do anything? I'm kerfuffled here. And I don't know. So yeah. I'm just going to tear in this and go crazy with the soldering iron, have some fun. I'm waiting on a couple parts. But oh my goodness. Okay, so I pulled the board at least halfway. Bottom board with the tube sockets is still in there, but I can get to the back of this. By default, I'm like, oh good, they didn't solder a bunch of crap on here, but what's interesting is it does reveal the things that they've yanked from here. See, it looks like we yanked something here, we yanked something from here, another resistor, and we pulled this out of there. So yeah, this is... There's something else missing over there. See? Yeah, we got to figure out what that is. Deal with that. Somebody thinks that they're an electrical engineer. That's not cool, man. Not cool. So I'm not going to bore you with this. I'm just going to essentially go hog wild here. And I've got original schematics printed out. And we're going to go through, and if it's not the way Fender intended it to be, it's going to be undone. And if it's an old original capacitor like these ICs or whatever, obviously these F&Ts can probably stay. But if it's not an original value, or it's not an original, or it's an original electrolytic capacitor, it's going to get swapped. But I'm going to have to check the values of all of these crazy things. I mean, all these values. Lord knows if they're right or not. Well, it's several hours later, and I think I've deleted all of the magic out of this amplifier. Not original values are these two droppings. These were supposed to be, I think, 330 ohms, and they have 470 ohms in them. That shouldn't cause enough of a difference to make me want to order and fix that part. That's close enough for jazz. Under here, we had a couple of capacitors replaced with original value and higher voltage, no problem with that, and then two of them were replaced with different voltages, probably to alter the tone. And then those big fat old Dale resistors, they were too big for the holes, and it's really easy to damage the PC board. Those are supposed to be the 470 ohm screen resistors, not 1Ks, which again, you're reducing your screen voltage, therefore you're going to effectively sort of fuzz out and wool your gain out. You're going to make your amp, you know, less clean and happy. My, the world. Some of these values and these designs have been used for years. Our blue caps here have been replaced. This was an odd one. This was like 0.068, and I think it was supposed to be a 100 volt cap, and the only thing I had was a 600. That's the only thing that sucks. And then over here, this was supposed to be like 560 picofarad, and it's got to be a higher voltage cap. I think at least 250 volts or something like that. And I perchance to have, I think, a 680 picofarad. There's a higher value yet that's used in the DeVille. So, I mean, we're talking 100 picofarad. I don't think that's going to be enough of a difference to care. But if it is, then we'll go deal with it. I suppose I should turn it on now and see if it explodes. Okay, kids, let's check our work. It's on. Still got to check the bias and that kind of crap, but... Okay, so we're off to a good start. Right? Now remember, before the bright was nothing but a bunch of distorted crap. granted, that's just a crappy speaker on the floor. You might not be able to tell, but yes, that is brighter. Okay, let's try our tone stack. Treble. No treble. Okay, bass. No bass. Max bass. It is working again. Speaker laying on the floor, not tremendously useful. And then we have our mid. Present. Yeah, it's working too. Okay, cool. So let's try over to the Distortotron here. Let's see, a little bit of drive, a little bit of master. Okay. Now let's try more drive, which before sounded exactly the same. Regular drive, more drive. Okay, so again, listening to a singular speaker on the floor isn't really a great judgment of epic tone, but as far as all of the things that didn't work before working now, we got that far. Let's go get our magical, mystical bias probe and see where we're at on these tubes. Okay, so we're running at 400 and, I don't know, like 450-ish volts, right? They're warming up, they're coming around, but we're like at 440, 450 volts. See, I see, yeah, about 445, something like that. Okay, and then our milliamps, we're only running like 28 milliamps, right? So if we calculate that, let's fix that. 445, done. Okay, calculate. So maximum 70% dissipation would be 47 milliamps. We're currently pulling 28 milliamps. That's plate dissipation of 41. That's pretty weak. Generally getting around to 60 would be more realistic, I would think, for a pair of 6L6 GCs. Yeah, maybe. So we tweak the blue thing. Okay, with that approximate voltage and the milliamps, I brought the milliamps up to about 41, which calculates out to 61% plate dissipation. Again, 70 is the max target, 60 is conservative-ish. Most of the guys will run these at 60 or 65. This is warm, it's going to be class A-ing enough, I think. So there's our numbers, 41 milliamps, where plate dissipation is 18.2 watts, and the yeah, so we're at 18.2 watts, which our maximum current we could go with this kind of voltage would be 472. So, you know, if these tubes age a little bit and things drift a little bit, we're still, you know, within a reasonable target. Okay, so I don't know if camera or microphone can handle it because it's loud, but it works. So let's play with the clean channel with reverb on. Let's try the bright switch now and see if it gets brighter rather than more distorted. That's what it's supposed to do. I've worked on enough of these, I'm pretty sure that I know that's what it's supposed to do. So let's try the drive channel on regular drive. I guess regular drive, basic drive. Let's turn the reverb way down because it's bouncy. Now for the more drive circuit, which used to do nothing. Oh, I hear more noise. Yay. So we can argue about the tones or whatever, and if we want to change the gain structure, like changing V1 and V2 to like maybe a 12AT or a 12AY can calm it down. It sounds appropriate to me now. This is what these amps usually sound like. So I hope Buddy's happy. I know the modsters aren't happy because I spent quite a bit of time deleting all of their work. But you know, 2 different people worked on this to mod it and make it sound more awesome, and all it did was make it sound broken. So I don't consider myself some kind of a major genius guru type person, whatever, but I know what these generally sound like, and if you want to change the sound of it, you do things like change the speaker and the first tube and whatever, and you know, you can tweak around with them a little bit. But back to pretty close to stock, pretty close. One capacitor I had to fudge a value just a little bit, and I may have missed something, you know, Lord knows. I went through it, I tried to get them all, but all the functions are back, and that makes me happy. So thanks for watching. Don't believe everything you read on internet forums about modding your amp to make it sound more awesome, because you may end up having to bring it to Kobe because it sounds more broken. Peace.